Good. All right, are you?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Stefan Johns, and this is my final presentation for my capstone project, Showstop. The inspiration for this project for about the past 4 years, I've worked as an event producer in Portland, Oregon, catering to BIPOC and LGBT plus community members. And one of the things that I have to do constantly is either message people through Facebook or Instagram or email or text message. So it's like all over the place. Like it's always trying to wrangle drunk cats, if that makes sense. And so I wanted to create something where we could all have like a central social network where we can contact each other, create events, um, share content that we create, and make it more streamlined so it's not like everyone all is all in different places. My market and target audience are artists, fans, and event producers slash managers. Artists are the people that actually do provide their talent for any event that you go to, whether that's a concert, a theater show, a drag show, whatever it is. Those artists are the people that that the event managers are booking to actually provide their talent and their skills to make an event successful. Fans are everyone, including myself. Anyone that goes to an event, anyone that enjoys content from like a musician, you're a fan. You like something that someone is creating and putting out into the world. And then event managers and producers are, of course, the people that make all of that stuff happen. They coordinate with venues, they coordinate with the artists, they coordinate with tickets, sales, all of that. That's who I'm targeting. That's my audience. As I worked alone, I did everything from general and lead development to Firebase admin to testing, UI, UX, prototyping, and developer accounts. And before we get into the features, the technologies that I use were Firebase authentication, storage, and database. It is an Android application, so it runs on Java. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Our first feature is login and sign up. With login, it's pretty simple. It's just an email and password that needs to be validated through Firebase. Once that's validated, you can log in and get right to your home screen. Whenever it comes to signing up, it's a little bit of a different process. You have to first validate an email and password to create an account. And then once you do that, you go through and you actually put in the information like your username, which also has to be validated. You select your role, you select your performance genre. If you're an artist or an event manager, it's your fan, all of that's done. And then once you get through the age verification, it takes you to the next screen where you get to choose your profile photo. If you don't want to select a photo, we do have default photos for each role. Like this one here is for artists, obviously. So we're going to continue with that. And then you'll be taken to your home screen once again. For the next feature, any social network that you create needs to create some sort of or have a following of sorts. So users should be able to follow one another, whether they're a fan, an artist, or an event manager. As long as you have an account that's validated, you can follow other people. You can't message everyone, which we'll get to here in messaging soon, but you can follow anyone that has an account. And there are metrics as well for following. So as you see, whenever you go to a profile, it has how many people are following them and how many people they follow themselves. I do not have it to where you can see a list of those people yet. But once you follow people, you'll get to see their posts in your home screen, which is the only way that you'll add more posts unless you do it yourself. When it comes to notifications for those posts or for those follows, as you see here, the demo account started following the account that I was recording. And then you get notified as soon as you tap it, it goes away, it's red, and then you're good to go. The next feature is posting. So one of the things I wanted to do was make sure that users could generate their own content, no matter if they were a fan or an artist or an event manager. Um, as long as you have some sort of way to interact with other users through the events that you put on. So let's say, for instance, like this, you can create a post from your profile screen. You can also add images, of course, which is something that I work really hard to get in there. But once you add your image, once you get everything posted, as you see it just updates. Once it's posted, it'll go onto your profile screen immediately. And then whenever you go to your home screen, you'll see that it's updated there as well. As it is storing the image in Firebase, I have to pull the download URL and then save that into the database so that way it's easier to glide those images into the image views. And so once you're on your home screen, you'll see all of these little hearts. Those are like buttons. So you can like a post, and as soon as you like it, it'll increase that count. If someone else likes it, it'll increase the account in the database and automatically show that to you on your end. And you do get notifications for post likes as well. The main feature here is events. So when it comes to creating events, a lot of people go to Facebook, or a lot of times it's Eventbrite. They'll create events that way they can use tickets. So with our events, I wanted to make sure that the user could create an event, share it. While we don't have social media integration just yet, whenever that does happen, they'll be able to share those posts and those events to Facebook, or to Instagram, or to Twitter, and then it would be as simple as sharing everything to one, or from one place to everything else, which was the initial goal. So whenever you go over to your events section, you'll see that there are events in your local city or your state. In the future, I would like to add it to where there's events all over the United States. But if you are an event manager, you'll see at the top that that's where your events would be. This event has passed, so there are no longer any going metrics. You can't mark yourself going, maybe or not. Um, then whenever you create an event, it'll show up in here for other users as well, even if it's not yours. It'll show up for the whole list. So I believe in this demo, a user does create an event for the graduation live stream today. Um, Whenever you create an event, it can be saved as a post, and so that whenever you double tap that post, it'll take you directly to that event itself. Or you can go back over to the event page, scroll through, see which events you want to go to, see which ones you like. This one is obviously home because I'm online. So this is what I'm going to. This is an event someone created. There is an event page. Links work for everything, but the event page, or the creation page, my apologies, um, is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You just put in all the pertinent information. You can upload an image, and then go from there. It's again pretty self-explanatory. My apologies. All right, and so the next feature is messaging. One of the things that I wanted to implement that I didn't actually get enough time to, but I did implement the background code for, is group messaging. Right now, you can just do private messaging and notify each user and talk that way, but that's kind of inefficient for what I would like it to do for shows, especially with larger casts and things like that. So yeah, we got messaging done. It's running through Firebase. I wish I could get Firebase notifications working, so that way it's like you would get notified for each message to your account, but that's where we're at. And you do get there is a little notification bubble that pops up on the home screen whenever you do get a whenever you do get a new message, and it's right here, as you can see. It bolds the text until it's read, and then once it's read, you're good to go. There's that. And then the last setting, or the last feature, is settings and themes. So whenever you go to the settings tab, there's a few things. Oh my gosh, my apologies. There's a few things that you can do. It's different dependent on if you're an artist or an event manager. So if you're an event manager and artist, you can request a secondary role. In my line of work, some people end up being event producers and artists themselves. You can request to be featured, so fans see a featured artist section on their home screen that artists and event managers don't. So you can actually request to be featured in that recycler. You can also reset your password, delete your account, or change your display name. But there's also like themes, so you can change all of the different theme colors. There's a plethora of different colors, as you'll see here. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And let's see. Now we're going going on to obstacles. Month one, the first obstacle was team communication. We just weren't communicating as well as much as I would have liked. They're a fantastic developer. I have no issues with them whatsoever. It was just we weren't working together as well as we could have. And so it was decided that we would separate and we would work alone on two different things. And so once we did that, month two came along. I was having issues with recycler reviews and social media. When it came to the recycler reviews, it was just I was trying to use Firebase UI for the recycler view holder, and that just wasn't working for some reason. I don't really know. I've like changed base models. I've changed a bunch of stuff to try to get it to work, but nothing was working, and then I just went back to a regular recycler view and did my own custom adapter, and it worked. Social media, Facebook requires you to have the application in live in order to like allow people to use Facebook to sign in, but you like to test, you have to create test accounts, and it was just, it's really convoluted and hard to understand. So I have it all set up. I just don't have it integrated as well as I would like. Then in month three, there's random bugs. A few crashes that happened were when I was like, whenever you would follow a user, it would just crash and go back to the home screen for some reason. Don't know why, but I was able to fix that in month four, funny enough. Um, and then, of course, like there's just random bugs that pop up with something not working or data not loading from Firebase correctly because it's trying to find an array and it's getting a hash map or something like that. Month four was messaging. That took the most time because I kind of had to separate everything by week because at that point I was also going back through and trying to clean things up. So it was just every week I was working on one different thing with messaging until week four I was able to finally combine everything. And then this month five, legal documentation, everything being a social network, and I do have advertisements in my app for from local businesses. So like there's CCPA, the GDPR things that you need to actually legally put this application out for public consumption. And so all of those things like they cost a lot. And I don't have that money right now, but I do plan on crowdfunding right now with my community to get that done so that way I can release it on the Google Play Store. And then yeah, if there's anything that I would change, I would absolutely love to have worked with another person. Another set of eyes on this would have been absolutely fantastic because I kind of felt like I was stuck in my own head and stuck in my own thought processes until I would talk to Miss Rebecca and like get feedback and see what I could do and see what I could change. And then also just wishing that I could have implemented more of the social media integration to make it that one stop shop that I wanted it to be. But yeah, that's just up. Are there any questions?
I had a quick question, Stefan. By the way, this looks awesome. Um, like this looks like a lot of work that you got done in a small amount of time for one person. Um, what was one of the things that like as far as problem solving that was one of the most difficult things for you to get through? Like you mentioned messaging and some other things, but what was one of the toughest things for you?
That is a very good question. I think the toughest thing was actually just trying to get things done, I suppose. Like messaging was difficult. I mean, a lot of the stuff was difficult to do alone, but it's just like I was so spread out and doing everything and making sure that I got all of these different features working and together that it was like a lot of times like it was frantic. And I really don't like working that way. So that was the most difficult thing for me was like making sure that I put enough time to each thing to where I wasn't like jumping back and forth just to make sure I got things done.
Gotcha. So like multitasking with the number of tasks. That's
Yeah,
understandable. Okay. Awesome, man. Great job.
thank you.
I know
Okay.
that
Yeah.
we, oh, I have a question. Sorry. I totally
Yeah.
like,
Cool.
I know that we, when you guys first start, we're like, oh, don't spend your own money. Don't spend your own money. But for like a social app like the one you've created, if somebody was going to come up behind you and do a similar app, what would you suggest would be a budget just to like get launched? Not like any people or any marketing or anything like that, but for things like the legal documents that you talked about and, things like posting and store fees. What do you think would be a good budget for students who wanted to do that?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. So with legal documentation, I was going through and I was trying to find like generators that were legally like viable, but also the cost to need was there. Like I actually got all of the things that I needed out of the document. For that, all of the things that you would just need to push it, it's I would say about $300. And then if you're going to use Firebase, and because I'm using storage, you have to increase it from the Spark to an actual paid plan, so that way you can make sure that storage and data access is fast enough, so it's not like things are loading slowly. So it'd be anywhere from another $10 a month to 75, depending on how much you spend. Um, I currently do not spend anything for that because I don't have that many users, so I'm not worried about it just yet. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Uh, I would say about,
It adds up.
yeah, like 400 would be the max that I have right now.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. The other thing that I wanted to ask you was going beyond this. You mentioned that you were going to maybe do some crowdfunding, and I know you already have a spot for ads in the application. What do you think is the next step for getting paid advertisers into your app? This is not something we really talk about in the program.
Yeah. So with paid advertisers, I actually have a contractual agreement where it would be because it's right now it's just local businesses and local venues that I'm going to be talking to. It would be just like $2 a day that they would be contractually obligated to have applicate or have ads in the app. And then I would have to make sure that I go through and time everything to where the posts are shown. But there is a contractual agreement for anyone that wants to have an advertisement in the app, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Okay, cool. Thank you for answering my questions. And somebody else was talking at that moment. I cut somebody off. So whoever that was, please go ahead and speak.
You're fine. It was a good question. So I don't actually have a question for you, Stefan. Like, I just an observation. When we started your pitch idea, we thought it was like to get all of these different interfaces would have been amazing at the end, and then to do it not only partially solo towards the end, but with the issues you ran into. Fantastic job, man.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Has the rest of the crew, well, I guess I do have a question. Has the rest of the crew that you intended this app for been responsive to kind of like ease of use, or like does it make their life easier?
Yes, actually. So, one of the things that I've been doing a lot, because I am an event producer, I've kind of put it on my phone, and I'll like log out of my user account in the application, and then I'll just like hand my phone to someone and say, "Hey, play around with this for a little bit. Just make an account, do something, have fun. Let me know what you think. I'll come back for my phone later." And it's usually people that I trust, obviously, that I do that with. But I do get feedback from them, like, "Hey, I can't read this," or "Is there any way you can change this size?" or "Is there any way that you can like make the picture in a post like centered, or like the whole size? Like, can I download these images? Can I do all this stuff?" Like, that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's really helped me build everything, because without that feedback, it kind of just would have been me thinking about what I wanted to do, and that's not what I wanted in the end.
Yeah, no, good work, man. Anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, we'll just like move it along. Not to downplay the accomplishment, but got to keep the truck moving. 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. Congratulations. Stop that one.